Coach will open with a comment. Raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Keep your hands up for a second so I can get you.
How's everybody today?
Good.
Good. After watching the last game, we probably approached playing the most complete game that we played all year. There's obviously many things that we can improve on. I think the question is do you rest on your laurels, or do you stay hungry to try to improve, build on the things that you did correctly, and fix the ones that you didn't? So you can either build on it or rest on it. I think with the challenges that we have, like I said, that's one game. So we got to move on to the next game, which is a very, very challenging team. Texas A&M probably presents as many issues as any team that we played all year. They have very well coached. Kevin Sumlin's done a really good job there. Offense, defense, and special teams. They're highly ranked in a lot of categories, whether it's turnover ratio, scoring defense, their ability to run the ball, very high-powered, balanced offense. Trevor Knight has done a really good job at quarterback for them, implementing their offense. Trayvon Williams, who is a freshman, has been a very dynamic running back, probably the best we've seen all year. They have talented receiver corps. Really have some dominating players on defense, and Miles Garrett and Deshaun Hall, the two defensive ends that create a lot of problems in terms of being great edge rushers, and have been very opportunistic on defense in terms of getting turnovers. So a lot of things important for us to do very well in this game, and it's going to take all phases doing them well to have a chance to be successful.
Okay, we'll start in the back with Cecil.
Coach, you've faced their quarterback before. Obviously, Trevor Knight had a big game against you in the Sugar Bowl. What do you remember about him, about that game, and what have you seen from him this year?
Well, he's an outstanding athlete and very capable running the ball. They have a lot of quarterback runs where he has made a lot of explosive plays, whether it's quarterback draws or zone read, slipper plays where he keeps the ball and has a blocker in front of him. He's improved, and he passed the ball well when we played against him before, but that was supposed to be the issue, and he has done that extremely well this year for them to create the kind of balance in their offense that makes them very difficult to defend. So he's an outstanding player from a production standpoint. He is as productive as anybody we played against all year.
Okay, we'll go here in the middle with Michael.
How hard is it to transition from a traditional running game straight ahead to going almost primarily read option this year? And how has Jalen done in making those reads?
Jalen's done a good job in making those reads. I think he's very comfortable, doing those things. I don't think the plays that we run are that much different than we've run before. I just think that he adds an extra element to it that makes the defense have to account for him, which makes them, in some cases, a little softer on some of the other things that we do, which I think all those things complement each other to help our offensive team. I still think that we need to make some improvements in the overall, passing game, whether it's protection, route running, reading, getting the ball out of our hand, especially when you play against a team like this who can rush, and the pace of the speed of the game is going to speed up. So there's plenty of it for us to work on, and to continue to build on the things that we've done well, but we've got lots of things to work on to improve on.
Right side here with Tony.
Coach, you said over the years that you wanted to make some changes in recruiting in terms of defensive linemen, and then changing your offensive philosophy a little bit based on the rules. You said that you need to play the game the way you have to play it based on the rules. Is what we're seeing this year with this team sort of an evolution of those changes you've made?
I think that we probably, defensively, we probably are a little more athletic and have a little more speed on the field. I think that helps us a little bit in loose play situations, which when you play these spread tight teams, that's the kind of plays that they run. Offensively, we've always tried to do what our quarterback could do, and I think Lane has done a really good job of adapting that. And this is sort of the direction that we wanted to go, that we started with Blake Sims, that Jake was a little different type of guy, and he did what he did very well. But now we're sort of back even beyond what we did with Blake Sims, which I think has made us the most effective offense based on the skill sets that we have. But we still want to have elements of pro style in what we do, so that we can control the game when we need to, but being able to run the ball and throw it in the pocket if we need to.
Have you enjoyed playing a little more fastball with these guys?
Yeah, I like playing fastball when we got the ball. It's like you like playing the fast break when you got the ball, running up and down the court in basketball. You don't like it when they got you 3-on-2 and you're the guy backing up trying to defend it.
We'll go here. We'll stay on this side with Aaron.
Progression is Miller Forrestall made since he first got on campus in January. How does he help you in the run game?
Miller was a very athletic guy, and we try to use him as a sort of a quasi receiver, tight end, H-back type of guy. And because he's a very athletic guy, he does a good job in perimeter blocking, and he's a very good receiver. So I think he's improved in both of those areas since he's been here, and he's made a significant contribution in his ability to play. And we've been able to rotate 4 different guys at tight end because of that.
Go up front here with Ken.
After seeing the film, how do you think Cam Robinson played? And taking it forward, you touched on your 2 tackles, the challenges they have. What makes A&M's guys so disruptive, I guess?
Well, they're guys that are very good rushers. They both have speed, good first step quickness, but they also have really good size, and to be a really good rusher, you have to be able to turn speed to power, which both of those guys can do. And they've got a good scheme on defense that makes it hard to try to help on those guys, and they move them around some and do some stunts with them that everybody's going to have to block them. But I know Cam gave up the 1 sack, but that's an example in the game. I thought Cam played well. I think Jonah played really well. But that one play sticks out. But really, it's the play before that leads to that play. We were going on 2, knowing that number 9 was their best rusher, knowing he was going to get off the spot. So we jumped on 3rd and 10. So now we can't go on 2 again. All right, so now he gets off the spot, beats us on the edge, and get a sack fumble out of it. So sometimes it's not just what you see. It's sort of how you lead up to what happens that can have some impact on that. But the penalty probably had as much to do with that as the execution of the next play.
Back over here with Tony.
Coach, what have you seen from Sean Dion Hamilton this season?
Well, he's played really well for us, and he's a very smart player, always in the right place. He's tackled well, fits the run well. He's done a really good job for us, and we have a lot of confidence in him. And Rashawn Evans played a little bit last week in that same position and did a really good job as well. So that kind of depth will be helpful to us if we can continue to develop it.
Right front here with Mark.
2 quick ones, if I may. We didn't see Alphonse Taylor last week. What's his status for the game?
Well, he's day to day. We'll continue to evaluate his circumstance and situation, and always have his player safety in mind as to when the medical staff makes a decision that he's cleared to be able to practice and play. He's going to do some individual stuff today, but no contact.
And then the second question, you touched on Travion Williams, but what has he brought to their offense that maybe they didn't have in the past?
Well, I've always think they've had a really dynamic offense and a really difficult offense to defend. But the guy's got great speed and quickness. He's got great vision as a runner. The field is spread, quite a bit when you play them. So if everybody doesn't fit it exactly right, there's a lot of air between him and the next defender, and he certainly knows how to take advantage of it. He's got a great burst and speed and great cutting ability. So this guy is, the real deal in my opinion.
We'll stay over here with Ben.
Can you use any of the film of the Sugar Bowl a couple of years ago as you prepare for Trevor Knight, or is that kind of too far removed from now to have much of an effect?
We don't plan to do that. I mean, we got enough issues trying to defend what they got to worry about what Oklahoma did 3 years ago. We know what kind of player he is. It's very obvious in the film. And I think a lot of the things that he did then are the same kind of things that he's doing now. That makes him a very effective player, and we're going to have to do a really good job against him.
Step right here between.
On Saturday, you talked about Jalen being able to handle you getting on him during the game. When you're recruiting guys, can you figure that out on how they would handle being in situations where you're getting on them? And when did Jalen show that he was able to handle?
Well, you know, I don't really get on Jalen that much. It's more conversational in terms of, look, young players, I don't care who they are. And Jalen probably handles this as much as anybody else. I mean, just like little kids, they go from toy to toy to toy, right? I mean, when they're 3 years old, 5 years old, whatever, they got no focus, no concentration. It's hard for them to stick with things. Well, we deal with the same thing when we got young players. You know, they can't stay as focused as the juniors and the seniors on all the little details every day in practice, in preparation, and all that type of stuff. So we're trying to, and Jalen is probably as mature and does it as well as anybody I've ever seen at his age, but still we're trying to help bring him along in all these circumstances and all these situations. And there's nobody on our team that wants to do that more than he does. So he sort of welcomes it. You know, he's very self-critical. So when you bring something up to him, it's kind of like, I get that. Maybe it's because his dad was a coach. I don't really know. But he's one of the easiest guys to manage in that circumstance that I've ever been around at his age.
Here in the middle of Tarrant.
Ronnie Harrison has had 2 defensive touchdowns so far, both from over 50 yards out. What makes him such a defensive threat once he gets a hand on the ball?
Well, hopefully we have several guys that, you know, have that sort of ability to make a play if they get the opportunity to. I think in this particular game, the guys did a really good job of adjusting. They motioned the guy back in the backfield to reload him from empty to throw him a screen out the other side. We had practiced against that. They anticipated it. Ruben anticipated it, played the screen, took it away. The quarterback sort of threw the ball over the guy's head, and Ronnie was playing in and out on another receiver who was cracking the guy who had the guy. So he was able to take advantage of that. Once he got his hands on the ball, it was pretty much smooth sailing. But you know, Ronnie's a good athlete. A lot of these guys that we have playing in the secondary and some other guys on defense have played other positions where they've had a chance to handle the ball. They've got pretty good ball skills and running ability. So, and I think that's why they can take advantage of what they do with the ball when they get it.
In the back, Joe.
Hey, Coach. In terms of the outside talk of what your team is and what it could be, how much do you feel the need to tell the players not to focus on the big picture, and how much of that do you entrust to the upperclassmen?
Well, first off, I don't know what the outside talk is. All right, so, and most of you create it, whatever it is, and I think you know how much I really respect all of you and your opinion about what you think. Very, very high, you know, put it way up there. But I still don't read it, I don't listen to it. We encourage the players to stay focused on the things that matter, and those are external factors that I call clutter, that really can affect your psychological disposition about how you need to compete the next game, because you can get satisfied with people patting you on the back for what you did last week, and then you get punched in the nose the next week. So it takes a special kind of maturity and a special kind of competitor to understand that, and it comes from understanding how much you have to respect winning and how hard it is to do that and what it takes to prepare to do that. And I'm not being disrespectful in any way, but you have to be a competitor to understand that. And we technically look at what our team needs to do, and hopefully our players are going to respond to that and build on it and not listen to what anybody else has to say.
Stay in the back with Scott. A couple more.
Hey, dude, you told us a couple of years ago, I think it was maybe Greg Williams Saints, about all this stuff, how you guys go to the numbers on a turnover or kick return. And set up the wall and different things. I'm just curious, have you added anything to that from the last few years, why you're so successful scoring like that, and that people are contacting you now about what you do on those kind of things?
Well, I haven't talked to anybody about what we do. And if we tell everybody what we do, then what do we do when we play them? This is kind of a profession that you try to hope that you can come up with something that somebody doesn't expect you to do, so that you have, or give your players a better chance to be successful doing it. But we just continue to emphasize the attack the ball. We start every practice every day with turnover drills, effort to the ball, more guys around the ball, ripping at the ball, all these types of things, playing the ball in the air when passes are thrown, making a critical decision of whether I intercept it, swat and hook it, tackle the guy. So these are all just fundamental things that we continue to try to emphasize, and I think players make plays. So we have some good players, and a lot of times one player affects another player making a play, whether Dalvin Tomlinson is right in the quarterback's face when the ball gets overthrown and Minka Fitzpatrick intercepts it. All these things contribute. Whether Tim Williams is getting the pressure off the edge and hitting the quarterback and he's throwing the ball before he wants to, and somebody else has a chance to make a play because of it. I think all these things contribute, and the players make those plays by what they do and how they execute.
Last one here with Alex.
Talk about Jalen's ability to respond to maybe some criticism, but several times this year he's made a mistake on the field, a fumble or whatever, not always his fault, but he seems to play better after that. What have you seen from him and his ability to respond from on the field?
Well, I think that's all part of his psychological disposition of not letting things affect him, being self-critical, knowing when he made a mistake, being able to focus on the next play, learning from the mistakes that he makes. And I think this is the right stuff that we talk about, that players need to have to be able to improve. If you can't be self-critical or you're defensive toward any kind of correction or criticism, it makes it very difficult for you to learn and grow. And I think one of his greatest assets is he's like a sponge when it comes to those types of things, and I think that's going to enhance his development, and he's probably where he is now as a freshman because of that. And he's been that way for a long time, and that's all been helpful to his development and his maturity.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.